based on real events.
Let's flip through the Edwards family archive. It smells like fresh photo paper and an old teddy. Bear once called Barney. Here's shot number 1, 5-year-old Jordan, both arms in a cast, but his eyes shining. That's when he first firmly decided, I will become stronger than the pain. Frame number 2, 7 candles on a cake. Mom holding his hand so he doesn't blow them all out at once. She always taught him to stretch the good stuff. Frame number 3, a report card with only A's and the teacher's signature. No questions asked, a stellar student. In the background hangs a uniform with the future number 11. Still a little big, but the ambition is already accurate in size. A series of shots of the brothers follow. Chatter in the kitchen. A pillow fight, a who can eat cereal faster competition. These shots are proof of how ordinary yet important life can be. Sports, lessons, family vows. His father used to say, like an incantation, study will give you wings, discipline will show you where to fly. Jordan would write the quote on a post-it note and stick it inside his locker so he could see it before every practice. He grew up believing that the world was certainly complicated, but manageable if the very rules that seemed eternal and inviolable. Friday night after a winning game is an atmospheric combination of fatigue and euphoria. The Honda's interior is humidly warm. The sweat from the game hasn't had time to cool yet, and the steam from the fries is already rising to the ceiling. Jordan holds the double cheeseburger in both hands like a prize trophy, and through a bite he gives the weekend's instructions. Guys, we're going to repeat the throws tomorrow, but save the evening for the reconstruction essay. I need an A! An orange basketball bounces in the back seat. The mascot they trust more than the school's Eagle mascot. Cameron, the younger brother, asks specifically for berry-flavored Skittles. The deal is that Jordan brings the candy and Cameron washes the uniforms and pours the game into the playbook. In his backpack, between his history book and his art folder, lies a sheet of goals. Get into the University of Texas. Buy his mom a car, get to the Mavs versus Lakers game. As the Honda smoothly cuts onto the highway, an old R&B track plays on the radio, and the boys sing along, pounding their fists in the air on the strong beat. For a second, the streetlights reflect in the windows, turning the cabin into a moving photo studio, where every frame is a promise of the future. Back then, it still seemed that the road was shorter than the song. The rumble of rain on the patrol roof is the perfect metronome of alarm. The dispatch voice is interrupted by the crackle of static. Possible shots fired. South sector, young suspects. At the other end of the airwaves, someone's confident baritone cuts in. Copy that. I'm close by, I'll check it out. At that moment, the lines of fate begin to converge. Radio is a device where fear is transmitted faster than facts. The patrol driver grabs his radio, answers 10-4, but you can hear the button jamming in the background, as if the equipment itself is hesitant. The cabin smells of coffee, from a thermos mug and the metallic ozone of the air conditioner. He turns on the flashers. Red and blue cut the wet asphalt, turning puddles into pulsating lenses. Rain jets whipped by the wind strip the windshield. The windshield wipers creak like a door. No one has closed in too long. None of the command codes say the word caution or clarify. There's only immediate. And while the patrol speeds off to intercept a suspicious sedan, inside the Honda, the guys are discussing where to go this summer. The walkie-talkie does its job. It translates a possible danger into an inevitable situation, nullifies doubt. From that moment on, the street belongs to the echoes of the teams, not the reality that whispers, just fireworks. The shot resonates differently than thunder. Nature shows the lightning first to give you a chance to prepare, and the bullet comes without warning. Those who study the footage later will see the physics of the moment, the speed, the angle, the trajectory. But the camera does not record the odors. Red-hot gunpowder, rubber, barely melted polycarbonate. Rain rushes in through the crack in the windshield, turning the cabin into an aquarium where water and air are interchangeable. Jordan lowers the hand holding the bag of Skittles. The brightly colored draggies spill out onto the carpet like colored proof that there was no threat. The brother sitting in front reaches out and feels the spreading warmth through his fingers, a terrifying clue that time will not turn back. The car rolls on as if it can't believe what has happened. Outside, flashers crush the night into fragments of red and blue, but each flare is a reminder of the same thing. There is no turning back. Later, investigators will find 4mm shards of glass within a 3-meter radius. Note how the drops of blood mixed with the rain, creating a pattern that cannot be repeated. But the most important fact cannot be measured. In those seconds, the belief that compliance is a bulletproof vest collapsed. The white walls of the waiting room confess a cruel truth. Light doesn't lie. The daylight spectrum bulbs under the ceiling buzz, as if suppressing the possibility of hope. The medical team operates mathematically. Pressure, pulse, adrenaline, repeat. The rhythm of the monitor gives the illusion of movement, but each flash is a microsecond struggle. Father stands behind the glass, his breath fogging the surface. He writes invisible circles, as if erasing the boundary between there and here. The mother is on her way, the phone on speaker, the sound of the siren behind the car, an ambulance imitation of heartbreak. 10 minutes pass, a time that could hold a lifetime, and the monitor becomes a smooth, straight line, as endless as a highway with no signposts. The nurse removes the bracelet from Jordan's name, places it on a metal tray next to his high school outline. Rescued by his brother from the car, the paper is a little wet from the rain, the ink blurred, but the title Civil War Reconstruction reads clearly. What isn't readable is the paragraph Jordan didn't have time to finish. A thin squeak remains in the chamber's airwaves, proof that minutes can be an eternity when it comes to the last heartbeat. Monday morning starts as usual. The sun cuts dusty rays, the automatic bell crackles, but no one wants to get out of their chair. There's a whispering in the hallways, as if the air is afraid of loud footsteps. The gym smells of wood floors and cold sweat, but instead of a workout noise, it's the slow rustle of jackets. On a chair in the middle of the stage lies a white rose and the number 11 jersey. The fabric still holds the smell of victory, but the bleachers are empty. The director timidly pronounces, "We will take this number out of circulation forever." The echo of his words bounce off the walls where "Work Harder" posters hang. Classmates hold sheets on which they've written one word: why. They had planned to discuss the graduation quest today, but instead they're counting how many seconds it took to ruin their vacation for years to come. Younger brother Cameron places a rolled-up list of 5 summer goals on his desk with a post-it on top. We didn't make it. Outside the window, the field is empty, the ball lying in the corner as if it has lost its meaning to bounce. This is how school teaches a new subject without a schedule, a fragility that can't be explained in tests. The recorder's microphone catches not only the words, but the pauses between them. A rumble has settled in there, like a train that is left without a passenger. Jordan's father is recording a formal statement for the court. "I am not asking for revenge," he repeats. "I am asking for safety." He reads each sentence twice. The first time, his voice trembling. The second time, harder, as if he wants to hammer a nail in the stone. On the table, next to the recorder, is a family photo. 3 brothers on an old couch, chips scattered, no one fighting, because at this point, the future is still intact. VU's hands jump into the red zone as he talks about nightmares. The single shot is an alarm, clock that can't be turned off. The room smells of coffee, cooled to bitterness, and the paper of a fresh protocol. Outside the door, a calendar rustles quietly, each turned. Sheet reminds how many days Jordan hasn't seen the new changes. The father concludes the entry with, "If my pain is heard, then other fathers will one day hear their children's footsteps on the doorstep, not a gunshot 20 meters away." Newspapers are falling out of the press hot, as if they want to burn their hands. Officer charged, video published, community demands answers. The headlines vie for volume, but the silence between the lines rattles harder. Journalists gather statistics. How many cases, what demographics, whose county? For the Edwards family, the numbers are empty geometry. They search the text for a single sentence. About how Jordan laughed when the toaster burned in the kitchen. About how he tried to learn the French for 4 times to make a bonjour joke at graduation. On the spreads are the stern faces of experts, charts, sketchy maps of the neighborhood. Not a single colored square where his dreams would fit. A diploma, a ticket to an NBA game, a car for his mom. Tomorrow, these pages will be wrapped in fish or folded into an archive. But for the family, this is not the end of history, but an eternal bookmark that can't be taken out. Newsprint is thin, but the point of its edges cuts deeper than steel. When it has a child's name written on it next to the word murdered. The thin, heavy quart-size paper trembles between her mother's fingers like a leaf in the late fall wind. She has long practiced each line to keep from breaking into a scream, but the courtroom absorbs the sound, making her voice as quiet as a prayer. "My son was my morning," she reads. "The hall is full of people, but each esh bounces off the walls with loneliness." She describes how Jordan would go out first thing to take out the trash, so his mom wouldn't have to carry heavy bags. How he'd leave her a "you're the best" sticker on the fridge if he left early. There is no anger in the text. There are only blank spaces where future events should have been. Graduation, driver's license, first day of college. A tear falls on the word never. The ink floats, and that blot reminds the universe. There's a teenage-sized hole in the coordinate system of justice. She finishes the sentence, "I'm not looking for punishment. I'm looking for no mother to write such letters again." The hall stands up, but there is no applause. Sometimes, silence is the only sound that can keep from distorting the meaning. The warm, sticky August rain drips down the mailboxes, the porch, the railing, leaving wet strokes on the steps like the signatures of all who went out that night. The phone rings, a tentative signal, and porch lights flash across the entire street. The light is soft, as if taken from an old family lampshade, but it's enough to chase away the shadows. 7 minutes these lights burn. That's how long it took Jordan to get home. Neighbors stand shoulder to shoulder, holding cups of hot chocolate to warm their shivering fingers. Some hug their children like armor made of palms. Each light is a small beacon that sends Morse into the sky. The living are welcome here. Younger brother, Cameron finds the point where the light overlaps the fog and recites aloud the goals he wrote with Jordan. To learn, to travel, to laugh out loud. Suddenly the rain grows quieter, as if listening. When the lights go out, the street doesn't go dark. It absorbs the light like paper ink, to remind everyone at the next siren, the world can still choose memory over fear, life over statistics.